All right, our friend David Foster is next. Inside baseball, I'm like a dataviz person. David is also kind of a career dataviz person. We've been buddies now for about a year and a half. And he posted this thing on LinkedIn. It's all about the worst pizza in New York. And I was like, this is so awesome. Can you come give a presentation in the subway? And he was like, hell yes. Just like you. I think that's what you said as well.
Yeah. I said, hell yeah.
Hell yes. Okay, all right, well come on in.
Hell yes.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Hey.
All right, so you just
All right.
the fancy on it.
Okay. This is officially the smallest venue I've ever performed in. See if we can beat that record. Okay, so anyway, as Jason said, I am a data viz artist and a pizza lover and New York City resident. So that's sort of the Venn diagram of this data set. I was handed a Google, well, it was a spreadsheet of Google reviews of thousands of New York City pizzerias. And let me explain. Let's see, how do I move? There we go. I don't know how many of you follow Cafe Anne?
Yes, she's the best.
Yes, she's a friend of mine, and she posted a story. I found it and I ate it. New York City's worst pizza, which is a pretty, that's them's fighting words. And so I reading the article, and I saw some stats and things, and I said, do you have any data to go with that? Because that's a pretty heavy conclusion to come to. She's kind of, if you've read her, she's kind of a gonzo journalist. She does like firsthand, she investigates different phenomena, different people, and so she was determined to go to Times Square and find the worst pizzeria. I don't remember the name of it, but anyway, that was sort of the basis of the story. But I said, "Can I get some data from you? Like, did you get some data?" And she said, "Oh yes, I do have a spreadsheet." And I said, "Well, would you like me to do some data visualization for you?" And she said, "I don't have time for this. The story's done. Take it, go with God." And so that's what I did. I took. I'm going to show you what I got. It's pretty boring. On the left is basically what she handed me. It was the names of all the different pizzerias and their addresses, and then their average scores. And then it sort of had more numbers of reviews. Good stuff. But to visualize it, I'm thinking, well, you want to put it on a map, right? You want to be able to see where the good pizzerias and the bad pizzerias. And so, anyway, I went through. I'll just make sure I'm doing this right. I wrote some notes for myself. So, my first instinct was to go with AI and try to geolocate all these places. Big mistake. So I wasted, an hour or so, and went back to a professional geocoding tool, and bingo bango, it was off to the races. And then I plotted a map with all of the pizzerias by neighborhood. Yes, Domino's, yes. So going through the data, I was kind of surprised, what I found, but I'm going to kind of drive you into that here. But basically, I made a map that is also searchable. I'm going to show you that at the end, so you can find your favorite pizzeria on it. How many people love pizza here? How many people have a favorite pizzeria?
Yes.
Is it your local pizzeria?
No.
Yeah. No. Okay. Excellent. Well, yeah, one of our favorites is our local. But so that was sort of the easy part. It was just mapping all the pizzerias and their reviews. But if you notice, just glancing at this with the scale, there's not a lot of bad pizzerias. Just even in this sort of, you can't really see. There's the landmass of Manhattan and Brooklyn here, but trust me, it's there.
Kind of see it.
Yeah, well, here you'll see it better here. So then, what I did was I decided what would be more interesting would be to figure out what neighborhoods have the most pizzerias per capita per population, and that's where it got kind of interesting, and kind of it makes sense. So one of the places, the place that Anne went to was in Times Square. Okay, and if you can see, Times Square is one of the densest. It's got, what is it, like over 8 pizzerias, per, 10,000. So, yeah. So kind of not surprising she would find a terrible pizzeria because there's a lot of them. This was part of the sort of discovery that I was going through to try to find how many bad pizzerias there are. And the truth is, there's really not a lot of them. So these are the average ratings. So each stacked bar is a sort of rating range, right? And so, and then I also broke it down by ownership, right? So the major chains, as you can see, kind of dominate the lower end of the rating scale. And if anybody has had Domino's, you might love Domino's. But anyway, that's sort of what the numbers showed. That's kind of the inversion. That's where things kind of turned around. And I said, you know what? Maybe New York City pizza is not so bad after all. And so anyway, then I kind of focused on the chains. And again, not to pick on Domino's, but they kind of dominate on the lower end of the rating scale. Yeah. Little Caesars, they've got this one, and I believe it's in the Bronx. Don't quote me on that, but we can check the map out in a second. But anyway, yeah, Domino's. Hands down the worst of the New York City pizzeria chains. No offense, I don't think they're going to have any trouble from this presentation. I think they're going to do just fine. Anyway, so, great. I was going to show you the actual map. So how do I find that, Jason? Where is that? Where do I find the map? There we go.
Yes.
All right. So this is a scrolly story I did. There we go. So that's basically just showing the progression. That these are the worst pizzerias. That they're mostly chains. And that chains, so these are the average rating is the X, and then the number of reviews is the Y, and then the large blue dots are the chains, and you can see that all these little gray dots, which are the independent, or the single or like two store places like the industry, they all kind of dominate the higher end. And then here's our pizza map, and you can go in. Okay, tell me your favorite pizzeria place. Joe's. Okay, well there's more than one Joe's, but let's see. Joe's Pizza. There's Joe's Pizza Park Slope. There's Woodhaven. There's I don't know. I couldn't tell you where these places are. You have to just kind of
Do Pizza Pete's.
Pizza Pete's.
Yes.
How could you go wrong with a place named Pizza Pete's? And there it is. It just pops right up. And there it is, with a rating of 4.3. Pretty damn
Sal and
good.
Carmine's.
Which one?
Sal and Carmine's.
Sal and Carmine's.
Iconic. Good choice. Good choice.
I have a Carmine's in my neighborhood, but it is
But
not
it's not a
that.
Sal.
Sal and, what do you say?
And
Carmine.
Sal and Carmine's. And Carmine's Pizza. Upper West Side?
Mama's too.
4 point. Mama's 2. Yeah, they're going to do well, I think. Mama's
that's on New York.
2. Upper West Side or the West
Upper
Village?
West Side, yeah.
West side.
Upper West Side.
Wow.
4.2. Not as good as the other two places.
Wow.
But anyway, so I'm going to go back to my presentation. How do I do that? Let's see. We can just read his email if you want. We can just close this out with email. So if you want to check this out for yourself, there's a QR code, and you can play to your heart's content and find your favorite pizzeria. And if you're feeling really dangerous, you can find the worst pizzeria in New York City and go have a slice.
Did you come up with the same worst one as Andrew?
No, and Ann's is actually not the worst. The worst is kind of in the nether regions of the Bronx, or I think Staten Island has a pretty bad one. But you wouldn't think, because Staten Island is actually
Yeah.
technically pizzeria dense and also has some really good ones.
Yeah.
I have a theory that
Yes.
on average, do you have the stats for on average the rating
with
for
talks happening.
No, that's a good one.
because I think it's Staten Island, even though there's better pizza in other boroughs, I think on average
I think
get a better-
you're
it's
probably right. You're probably right.
That honestly doesn't surprise me.
And
That's
Brooklyn,
my theory.
and Brooklyn is also pretty.
I live in Brooklyn, and
Yeah.
I think some of the best pizza is in Brooklyn. But I think on average,
And Bronx is Arthur Avenue. You know, Bronx
I'd love
is
to
a
see
pretty.
that
What
stat.
place in Manhattan is like starts with a P? That's like the first pizza place, or they say it?
Patsy's?
No,
No,
Barnum.
Lombard
Barnum.
starts with an L.
Oh, okay.
Lombard.
They
And that's
were
no
a grocery
slice. You have
store,
to get the
though.
whole pie,
Right, right.
which, you know.
Right, again,
Is that really?
hey, thanks everybody.
Hey, all right. David Foster. All right, so it's time for the costume contest.